All right, I don't have any witty quips for this one, so we'll just jump right into it. This is the Bros Watch the Expanse. This is episode 7, Sech, Siete. I'm out of languages.
Yeah, that's
Season 5, episode 7. I believe this one was called OYEDENG.
yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
That's some belter slang for you.
OYEDENG. So, brother, I told you before we just started recording. I've got some hot takes on this one, so
All right.
I'll let you start, and then the hot takes will spew out of me.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, first off, some stuff I noticed in the intro is they keep focusing on. They showed the Marco ships first. They showed the Free Navy, and then in the intro they keep naming this one ring, and I don't know if I mentioned it before. I may have, but it's called Laconia, and that has to be a reference to something in the future. That has to be some foreshadowing, because it's the only ring that they give a name to. So just wanted to say that. But anyways, the episode starts off with a little early glimpse of Naomi and Marco. We get just a tiny flashback at the very start, and then we get just a really good scene between Naomi and Marco. Maybe you didn't think it was. We'll have to see what those hot takes are.
The I'm over the storyline. I mean, really, like I've said it for a couple weeks. It's just it. I can only see it. We'll get to it later in the episode, but even with what happened later in the episode, I already know what's gonna happen. And it's just dragged on. And the first like 10 to 15 minutes of this episode was good acting on their parts, but the story itself was just boring to me. I was like glancing over at Impact Wrestling.
I disagree, but that's your opinion. That's just
Yeah.
like your opinion, man.
I'm coming out like Skip Bayless here, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah,
Just dropping hot takes everywhere. Uh,
Jesus.
I mean,
Just verbal vomit.
but really though, I was very like, well, nah, I mean, that was the whole bit of the whole first section of the show was, and this episode was only 47 minutes long, so to devote 10 to 12 or whatever minutes to just, and look, don't get me wrong, it was great acting. It was very well acted, but the storyline itself
Yeah.
is just, I'm just kind of over it.
I still liked it because you get all the backstory and like why all the characters are behaving the way they are. So I'll disagree with your hot take there.
Right, but like we already know why they're behaving like this. Like we already knew that she basically
Not
took
really.
the
We
side.
get a
Yeah,
few revelations in the episode. We get a few things that happen that are
but
really
again, to
unexpected.
me, it wasn't. But the whole deal with Sin wasn't. It just was. It wasn't that shocking to me. It was like, yeah, okay, I've kind of figured that was coming at some point. Someone she knew helped him hide her son. I mean, obviously.
Well, it's not obvious. I don't think it was obvious. I think it's just another. I think you're overreacting. I think the fact that they made Sin look like her only ally in this whole thing definitely was a little unexpected, especially with what happens at the end of the episode.
Now, what happened at the end of the episode did redeem it.
Let's leave it for the end of the episode.
I'm just gonna say it did redeem it a little bit for me, but still, this whole storyline could have been done in 1 or 2 episodes, not the entire freaking season.
I mean, it's pretty central to the overall plot. So,
I know, but it could have been
why.
done. It could have been done more concisely.
All right. Well, anyways, I guess we're just gonna slog through this episode since you're just done with the whole story.
Yeah, I am.
Anyways,
I mean, we can talk about whatever you want. Go into detail if you want.
We're just
I'm
gonna
here
go
for it.
on. It's the first part was just so boring. We'll just go to Bull and Holden talking on the Rocinante.
Now this was good. I like that bit.
Oh, so this is good, but you didn't like the other story stuff.
Oh, because they're talking about Fred, man.
Yeah.
Fred was the man.
Fair. All right. Yeah, they do. I like Bull's saying about like you spend a little time with someone and you can figure out how full of shit they are. With Fred, I never got to that. Never really seemed like he was full of shit. And he compares Fred and Holden at one point, just like Fred always knew best, and he was right most of the time. And Holden is very much the same.
Yeah. I liked when he was like I never trusted Fred, and he was like, yeah, he knew. He was like, he knew you didn't trust him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like, yes.
yeah.
um, we get a little bit more with Monica because she's still tagging along, right?
Her
It's
name is Reporter Lady.
I'm not even going to respond to that. So another part of that little conversation that they have is that Alex and Bobby send them a message, and they're close enough that the light delay is not that long, and they're both like
Yeah.
really puzzled. So
That was I like that little bit too, that they were almost like crossing paths almost.
yeah, yeah, and we know that they're like really far out there somewhere. They're somewhere near the belt, so it's the distances get further and further when you go out further from the sun. So um, that was interesting that they were just happened to be near Tycho, both of them. Uh, there was also a little bit of a blurb with Avasarala where they fed the information to her, and she was like, "Yeah, the navies are gearing up and they're getting ready to go after Marco with the information that you gave us." So
And
that was
I
good.
believe she said they were pulling back the Saturn and Jupiter fleets. Isn't that what she said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um, so a little bit after that, we just hit. I know we have to talk about the major plot because that was like
Let's
three
do
quarters
it.
of the episode.
Well, exactly. Let's do it.
Naomi seems to make a connection to Philip. They finally have like a sit down where he's more open to what she's saying. They cry together. I really enjoyed the acting in every single episode on that ship, or every single piece on that ship.
The only thing that scene was missing was him sucking his thumb and going, "Ma, ma, ma, ma." I mean, what are we doing here? Again, it's well acted. It's well acted.
Yeah,
I will say that.
So we have that, and then we get the revelation that, well, like you said, Sin, he was the one that helped. Yeah, he helped, and he was like, yeah, this one's kind of on me. I may have hid your son from you.
Yeah, I mean that was a good scene. The dialogue between them, and I did feel the emotion there. It was a good scene, but it's just like, okay. At no point did anybody think Naomi was just like, all right, peace, I'm out of here. And then also, like, nobody thought, like, what, Marco could just hide on the place that she grew up, like, it could just hide from her for, like, however long.
Palace, yeah.
Yeah, like, what did it do, like, 20 days or 20 weeks or whatever it was?
She said a few months. She looked a few months. I don't think they put a firm number on it.
I thought I heard 20. It might have been something else.
And then they talked about Naomi wanting to kill herself, too.
Yeah, which I mean, I kind of figured something like that happened, like some sort of depression or something, just from previous seasons of her talking about it. But, yeah, I mean, great scene. But again, I wasn't shocked by anything. I was just like, I just assumed that someone she knew helped.
Yeah, I get that. I'm okay with that. But more importantly, we see what's actually happening with the plot between Mars and the Belt, because we go out to Holden and he's like, there's no way they have the money for warships.
Right.
So he finally puts it together that, well, they're selling the protomolecule and the protomolecule information because Mars couldn't get it off of Tycho.
Giving it to Mars so that Mars can use it as a weapon.
Yeah. So that's essentially why Mars wants to do their thing, and it seems like they want to set up like a separate kingdom almost because everyone's trying to get away from Mars.
Right.
So it's like they're trying to take over a system or two, maybe. And
I don't know. But see, again, the rings. There's only like one habitable. Isn't there only like one habitable place in each ring? Isn't that kind of how it's set up?
I would assume so.
So,
because like look at our own solar system, I would assume there's only one planet for each ring system.
So I don't know how easy it would be unless they're just trying to control the entire ring and basically post up a fleet and say like, yeah, this is aimed at Earth. We're the only ones who can go through the gate now. I did like. Do you think we're gonna get a new reveal of someone? Because they mentioned it had to be someone high up in the Martian like government, right? In the Martian military. So do you think it's going to be what's his name from the first episode or two? Or do we think we're going to get some kind of new reveal with some kind of connection to that guy?
The only character we know about is Admiral Sobater. Like, he's the highest one up, so maybe that is it. I don't know if it's going to be a new character, but it seems like it would be, just from like the sheer scale of things that have been happening on Mars.
When is the bombing of Martian Parliament going to come into play? I mean, they just mentioned it, and if it's true that someone in the government was selling these ships to the Belters, is it possible that whoever that was orchestrated the bombing and is now line of succession? Now they're in charge or something?
Yeah, so that makes an even bigger case for me thinking that they're trying to like establish their own government. If they just like bomb the other government, they're in disarray, and then you just leave. You take your resources, your ships, and you just go somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah, but I liked that scene when Reporter Lady and him were piecing everything together, and because it was kind of like there's been so much happened in the front half of this season that I think you almost kind of forget about, like the cell and everything. And then Alex was there on Mars, and Bobby was originally tracking it for Avasarala to begin with. So
yeah,
I did like that scene. And of course, well, did that happen? That was like literally right before they tracked the Zemea, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that was right before. And
which was
the juice, baby.
Yeah, they get the juice, and the scene with the Rossi. I love when what are the NPCs or whatever they call them? Those things are when they PDC, yeah, whatever.
Personal defense cannon.
When they spin, they've only done it a couple times in the show, but when they spin the Rossi and those cannons, I love that stuff, man. It looks so good. It looks so good.
Styles are like so creative. It's never just like two ships shooting at each other. They always have something weird going on. Like when they fought the stealth ship inside the station, where they kept moving in between the spinning station. You have the tactic they used with the nukes to save Avasarala and Bobby back in like season 3.
Yeah,
everything is so fresh.
Well, even in this one, you get the kind of swirl fan of torpedoes from the Zemea back at the Rossi. Cool. It just looked really cool. But yeah, I mean,
and something that they haven't done in a long time, which I love, is the long range, like zoomed into and you see like the ship moving across the screen. Yeah. I don't know why, but that just looks so good every time they do it.
It's cool. It's a good little bit. But here's the deal. Where'd the proto-molecule go?
Yeah, so we get some hot railgun action.
Obviously, it wasn't on the Zemea.
Yeah, I think that they already handed it off, and that's why they started burning away from. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think they actually destroyed it. I think that it did get handed off.
They mentioned earlier in the episode something about them possibly handing it off, but they couldn't really. They couldn't determine.
Well,
what
Didn't they say that there were like several flight paths that had intersected with the Zemeas?
Yeah. So because he even says like, oh, it's a busy route. Whatever route they were tracking it on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, Marco wouldn't just voluntarily blow up the ship with the proto-molecule on it. Like, that's the proto-molecule is the only thing basically keeping him in power right now. Because
absolutely.
If Earth and Mars found out he didn't have the proto-molecule, it's bye-bye free Navy.
Very true. They wouldn't be able to get resources or anything else from Mars, so
yeah, they're screwed. If he doesn't have the proto-molecule, they're screwed because then Earth just lights everybody up because they're like, you threw a bunch of asteroids at us, buddy. So you're dead.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, so after that awesome fight scene, they blow up. Maybe the proto-molecule's gone, maybe it's not. Something that's important when they go back to Marco's ship is I saw two screens. I saw one that looked like there were ships moving away from Mars and the Earth. And then two, it was showing 3 different UN ships at the edge of the ring gate.
Yes.
So,
I know, I picked up on that too.
it looks like he's gonna make a run at those ships, maybe to establish like a full military presence inside the ring space.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole thing has been Belter independence, right? Well, what's the easiest way for them to get Belter independence? Well, you take over the places that nobody claims yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I kind of figured that was long-term goal was him taking over some of those systems in the gate. Um, but yeah, so should we get to this? Is my final hot take is coming up.
All right. So we get Marco showing himself a little bit to Philip as being like, "You're nothing without me." Basically in front of the crew, and then he realizes he like went a little too far, so he takes a step back and gives Philip like a pat on the back instead, and like gets the crew to chant his name. But like right after that,
I mean, yeah, obviously he told them to like, hey, chant for Philip.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta blow some smoke up my boy's ass for a little bit.
Yeah. So, I was okay with that. I mean, like, he does it, but it's just kind of like further like him kind of brainwashing essentially his own son, right? Like,
yeah, like it's a really abusive relationship. Like you beat him down a little bit verbally, and then you're like, "No, I'm sorry, I love you. You're so good."
Yeah, because I mean, normally raised under somewhat normal circumstances, you'd be like, "Yo, screw you, pops!" Like,
yeah.
So, but okay, let's head to the final scene then.
Go ahead. What? Give me the hot take first.
All right. So first of all, this is hot take 1A, hot take 1B. Okay. Hot take 1A. This is like wrestling character building 101 with Philip, right? Starts off as a face. You think he's a baby face. Heel turn, but not a full heel turn, because then he comes back as a face a few weeks later, right? Like this is how it's done. This is the character face turn, as we call it in the biz. And so I mean, this is he's going to redeem himself at some point and save someone. But Sin sees on the monitor Naomi standing outside the airlock, right? She's like the second main character. She's not gonna space herself.
Yeah.
They're not that crazy. If they're gonna kill her, if they're gonna kill her off the show, it's gonna be in some kind of crazy way. I knew she was going to the other ship.
Yeah.
That being said, it was pretty cold hearted when she told Sin like, "Bro, you definitely shouldn't have come out here."
Oh, she was like, "Yo, man, you fucking hit my son from me. Like, you don't deserve this. I'm going."
Yeah. Which brings me to my final hot take. As good as they have always been kind of on the scientific side of things, making it very believable, this is so outrageous.
I don't think it is. And I'll tell you why.
Even with the oxygenated blood, everything we know about space, you go outside of space, that's it, Jack. You're out. Like, you're done. All right? So they're in space. Okay.
Space,
like they are.
That's worse than regular space, right?
No, bro, they're like deep space, bro. Okay.
So
the amount of time she was outside, the amount of time that she was outside, regardless of how much oxygenated blood you shoot into your veins, okay, she should have been crunchy, and by the time she hit that door, she should have broke apart. Watch a movie for me one time.
But a movie's any better scientifically accurate. So one is the momentum. The momentum absolutely would work. She could actually get over there because they were slaved still. They were just moving apart. They were still parallel. So she had gotten there. But the biggest issue is just the temperature.
Yes.
And I don't think...
She should have broken apart into tiny little chunks by the time she hit the door.
I don't think that's true.
Okay, you go out. So call Elon up, fly up into space, and then jump yourself outside for a while and see how it feels.
So here's a Business Insider article that says that you'll pass out after about 15 seconds. 90 seconds after exposure, you'll die from asphyxiation. It's also very cold in space. You'll eventually freeze solid. Depending on where you are in space, this will take 12 to 26 hours. So if she had oxygen, she'd be fine.
Who wrote this article?
Tim. Look up for stuff. You don't have to trust me.
Who
You can
wrote
look up
this
your own
article?
information.
Who wrote? Does this guy have a PhD or did he work for NASA or something? Or is it
Rob
just some?
Whittaker and David Anderson. I don't know who that is. They don't have their stuff.
Was it
listed
Neil
here.
Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin?
Yeah, that's.
Because they've been in space. Not some nerd working for Business
They've
Insider.
been in space.
They have been in space. They were on the moon.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. The math says that she would be okay as long as she had enough oxygen to not pass out.
But that's the other thing. She was breathing. She like exhaled all of her air. Like what are we doing?
So you have to exhale though, because if you don't exhale, it's going to get pulled out of your lungs anyway.
I know, but she couldn't have enough oxygen in her blood even with the thing.
Tim, this is like 300 years in the future. They have like
No, it's way
casts
further
that
than
form. They have like radiation patches. There's so much medical
this is
stuff that you don't know about.
way further in the future than 300
I
years.
know that they can shoot into themselves.
It's
so they can
space! It's
oxidize
space!
blood.
It's space! It's
Yeah,
space!
You don't understand space.
I understand that space is it, Jack. When you go outside in space, that's it.
Look. This is so much more scientifically accurate than other movies, and I think you need to give up this point because you're wrong.
Says Business Insider because when I want my space technology info, I go to Business Insider. Give me a break.
All right, what about All right, there's a Harvard article. Would you believe that?
Depends on who wrote it. Has he been to space?
One of the study vacuum exposure. You don't have to go to space.
Did he go to NASA? Did he go to Kennedy Space Center? And did he shut himself in the thing and suck the air out and stay in there for a while? If he did, then I'll believe him.
Look, I'll send you this article. Maybe you can judge for yourself.
No, I mean you can send it to me. I'm just telling you, I know what I know about space, and
exactly.
that was completely far fetched.
That is not far-fetched.
I buy a protomolecule. I buy the ring. Okay, I buy the protomolecule morphing into a ring with warp gates to other universes. I don't buy her. She should have died.
Because here's the thing. I bet the writers emailed someone like Ty Frank and Dave Abraham. I guarantee you they emailed and did their research about what would happen if someone was just exposed to space. They absolutely would have done that.
I'm gonna need to see some behind the scenes or something because I just don't.
Other than this, Ted McClane tell me how space feels.
Bro, I'm just telling you. What have we always seen and been told about space? That's it.
The wrong stuff. You trusting Hollywood to tell you what space feels like?
I went to 6th grade, okay?
Yeah.
There's nothing out in space. There's no air. There's no nothing.
I'm telling you, that scene is probably the most realistic part of the episode. Given like Epstein drives and in the acceleration mechanics and everything.
You know what? Maybe I just was in a grumpy mood or something tonight. I'm ending the pod. That's it. That's enough. That's it. We're done.
Did you get lunch?
We're done. We're done.
Are you hangry right now?
I might be a little hangry. We're done. This has been the Bros Watch the Expanse episode 7.
This really went off the rails.
Let me know if I'm right because I am. So just tell me I'm right
in the comments.
Wrong.
He's wrong.
You know what? We'll be back. They need to do some serious recalibrating next week and get me back on track for this season because the rest of the season's been pretty enjoyable. That's
Something
it.
wrong with you.
We're out. See ya.